G'day and welcome to Wine Week. I'm Danny.
And I'm Brad.
And see these? Tickets to the Good Food and Wine Show in Melbourne. And these aren't ours.
We've got some winners.
The
winners have already been contacted.
They have, because basically by the time most of you are watching this, it's already started. So if you're in Melbourne, make sure you get along, because if you didn't get an email from us by now, you're going to have to pay your own way to go and see some great food, taste lots of fun things, and loads of wineries will be there.
Yeah, it is a really good tasting. You can whip around and get around to quite a few.
Yeah, get around to loads and loads. And speaking of getting around to loads and loads, this is the Big Red Wine Book. Now, we talked about it last year. Campbell Mattinson, along with Gary Walsh, put this together. There's literally more than 1,000 great bottles reviewed in this book, and it is a ripper. We all know the big holiday book that comes out every year, filled with thousands of wineries and, you know, great little red wines, great whites, great desserts. This one is just about the reds, and we know there's lots of you out there that just love your red wine. Personally, we love a bit of white as well, but if you're into your reds, this is probably the best Aussie book you can put your hands on. Inexpensive, filled with so many good tips, even more than we can give you week in, week out. So if you're in the market to find even more bargains than we can suggest to you, make sure you grab the Big Red Wine Book out at reasonable and better bookshops around the place, about $25. That is the second Bible.
It is fantastic, and it's got some really good lists up the front. If you're bargain hunting, there's some really good hit lists. You can almost sort of take out those pages, go along to the shop and just tick them off as you go through.
Yeah, geez, it'd be fun ticking off all of them. Anyhow, let's keep going.
Keep going. Well, one that, look, we've been meaning to do on the show for a little while, and funnily enough, gets a good review in this book, is the St. Hallett Faith Shiraz. Now, this is the 2008. Some of these 2008s are looking pretty sharp from the Barossa Valley, and St. Hallett here, they've really been in great form recently. We featured one of their wines, the Blackwell Shiraz, as part of our best dozen, I think, not last year, but the year before. This one is a little bit cheaper than the Blackwell. This recommended retail around the $20 mark, but again, in a lot of the big discount chains, you might see it nudging the $15. And look, even at $20, $25, this is a good value Shiraz, but at $15, it's an absolute steal. You'd be kicking yourself if you don't go out and buy at least a few, pop them in your cellar, and let them evolve for a couple of years. It's look, it's probably not designed for the long-term cellaring like maybe the Blackwell or they're top of the line, the old block. But look, this one is fantastic. It manages to straddle that nice line between drink now and pop it away for a couple of years. So look, St. Hallett, great form. The Faith Shiraz, year in, it's a great wine.
It certainly is. They've been in really good form since Matt Gant kind of was there. He's no longer there doing first drop stuff, but still they've held on to the great wine making since that point. Look, last one we're going to have a look at this week is actually another that got a very good review inside the Big Red Wine Book. We won't tell you exactly, but towards the front there's the absolute best, the best winery, the best red, the best alternative red wine, all these sorts of bests. This one appears right at the very front of the book. This is the cigar from Yalumba. Now, we haven't been doing quite a few Coonawarra reds recently because I was over there recently. This is another of the great ones. The cigar, $25 odd most places, and
remarkable.
Unbelievably good value when you put it up against things like, say, the Alex 88 that we talked about last week that's almost at the $40 mark. This would compete side by side with that. It is a great wine. The cigar, basically the name coming from that thin strip of land in the Coonawarra as I fall off the desk there. Might mean that I've had a little bit to drink at the start of it, but this is a great wine. If you can possibly find it, and it's possibly not easily available in the biggest chains, but easily available in lots and lots of good wine shops around the country, make sure you get your hands on this. Compare it to the notes in the book. I think you'll find that Campbell and Gary got this one spot on because it's a great wine.
Yeah, look, and Yalumba, they keep coming out with these new wines and keep going, well, they keep doing marvellous stuff. So the cigar is really testament to that.
Yeah, certainly. Scribbler, the Menzies, the cigar, some great wines from Yalumba at the moment. Great stuff coming out of the Coonawarra, which I love. Anyhow, that's it for this week on Wine Week. If you see us at the Good Food and Wine Show in Melbourne, make sure you say g'day, and we'll see you all again next week.
See you next week.